Debunking the possibility of outcome in this career is an ignorant move made by the government side of the house. We see that the outcome in this career varies as extreme or maybe even more extreme than other careers. Sure, content creators like Charlie D'Amelio, Kaby Lame, and etc. made a fortune through this career path. But ignoring millions of other failed released content on the internet is a hasty generalization made by the government side of the house. And adding to that, calling it the right parenting simply for letting your child choose their career without formal education is misleading. The government side of the house believes that the right parenting is to give the perfect guidance for your children. Well, guess what? Letting them choose simply because they wanted to is not called a guidance. You haven't unlocked the full potential of your children, leading them to just neglect formal education. Thus, as a middle-class parent, this house will not support their child's choice to deprioritize formal education in favor of pursuing digital career skills or creativity skills. Now, moving on to my argument as to how this house will not support their child's choice of deprioritizing formal education. We have two main arguments for today. Number one, it is a basic resource of knowledge. And number two, in search of their true potential. Number one, as a middle-class parent, this house will not support their children's choice to deprioritize formal education in favor of pursuing digital creative skills or career, simply because formal education is the basic resource of knowledge. You see, to earn a skill, to deepen a skill, and to master a skill, all these are formed through formal education, especially adding to our motion of the day, which is pursuing digital creative skills or digital career. You see, technology evolves with globalization, and with that, mastering computation became a lot more difficult. This is where formal educations are needed. This is where your technology skills are learned and the basics of your starting career builds here. Okay, let's say audiovisual design. Where do you get this philosophy? How do you utilize the platform? What is the methodology? How will you storage the data? And what is the best media to promote your work? Formal education is where you will know best of the answer. Sure, self-learning is one thing, but earning the information straight from an educator is far more effective and efficient for your future career path. And then number two, as a middle-class parent, this house will not support their children's choice of deprioritizing formal education simply because as a child is still searching for their true potential. The world progresses, like the government side of the house have said. And with that, career option also varies. What a child most capable of is a question that you can't answer simply by letting your child choose what they want. This is where the government side of the house flawed. The government side of the house put out that the purpose of parenting is to be the perfect guidance for your children. You see, a child is capable of so much more. What they want right now may not be the best of what they can do. Formal education lets your child explore and letting them know the basics. Only after then, a child can choose a definite career path. Second one is where they say that a parent is the one to give meaning of life to their children. Sure, we agree to this statement, but not to the conclusion they're pulling. Give meaning of life doesn't mean that for them to do whatever they want. It is when they are learning and growing to be an individual with knowledge and wisdom. Now, I'm not saying that choosing digital creative skills or digital creative career is not knowledgeable and wise. I'm saying that prioritizing formal education is what you should do to get that. In the end, content creation may be your best potential, and now that they've learned the basics and they've gotten the wisdom, the meaning of life is given. So, in conclusion, our side of the house believes that deprioritizing formal education in order to pursue digital creative skills or career is not a responsible move made by us as a middle-class parent. Rather, we would like to suggest for middle-class parent to let their children prioritize formal education, simply because you get your basics knowledge there. That's where you learn the most. That's where you see what you're most capable of. That's where you learn how to socialize, and that's where your characteristics are built. By deprioritizing formal education, you're throwing away all these goods that are going to be needed by your children in the future. Sure, content creation might be one thing. It might be a career. It might be a good choice. In the end, it might be successful for your children. But just like as I said on my rebuttal, debunking the possibility of outcome in this career is ignorant. There are so many outcomes to this career, and say that you succeed. Okay, that's good. But how long is the success? Or even worse, what if you haven't? What if you're not succeeding at all? What's your plan B? The plan B is you can get your plan B by having basics knowledge. And where do you get your basics knowledge? That's where formal education stands. And with that, deprioritizing formal education is not a recommended movement, opposing to the government side of the house. Thus, as a middle-class parent, this house will not support their child's choice to deprioritize formal education in favor of pursuing digital career skills or creative skills. Thank you.